Oh, well, if you've heard me all the way over here, I must be doing something right.
That was something very wrong.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the most try-hard films that ever vied for Academy Awards and failed to win any. Some spoilers to come.
It hurts like hell.
I know, but you gotta embrace that pain, Mark. You gotta love the pain.
Number 20, The Goldfinch. It was inevitable that Donna Tartt's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel would be adapted into a film eventually. But few would have thought this John Crowley-directed venture to have such an underwhelming reception.
Heard no?
Yeah.
Tough luck. How are their bites?
A Dickensian coming-of-age tale, The Goldfinch follows Theodore Decker's orphaned life after his mother is killed in an art gallery bombing. Despite its gorgeous cinematography, the film's surface-level adaptation of this complicated narrative left much to be desired, so much so that a disappointed Tartt fired her agent. To add assault to injury, it was also a box office bomb. This bird just did not fly.
I lost something that should have been immortal. I didn't mean to do it. Because what I've done cannot be undone.
Number 19, Nuts. Sex worker Claudia kills her client after he tries to assault her. Her upper-middle-class parents try to have her committed, but Claudia insists she is mentally sound. Of course she is, but that is unfortunately the problem in this cliché-clogged courtroom drama starring Barbra Streisand in the lead role.
Now, you want to know what I do for a living? Ask me. My time is very expensive, Mr. McMillan, probably more than yours. I get $500 an hour. How much do you get?
While critics praised Streisand's performance, they were less enthused by the predictable plot. The film was at least nominated for a couple of Golden Globes, but won none. It was also not nominated for any Academy Awards at all, which was for the best with this quickly forgettable film.
It would be better if you could trust me.
Yeah? Why? Because you have so many degrees on your wall?
Do you think I'm one of the guys trying to put you away?
They don't pay you to turn me loose, do they?
Number 18, Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. War dramas tend to gun hard for the Oscars, and this one is no exception. Directed by Ang Lee, the film follows the titular U.S. Army soldier when he gets honored for helping a fellow soldier to safety. To Lynn, however, the day was the worst in his life, reliving it all during the Dallas Cowboys home game.
You ever kill somebody? I mean, like, watch them die.
Yes.
What's that feel like?
It doesn't feel like anything. Not while it's happening.
This ambitious character study unfortunately doesn't reap much thematic fruit, with critics disappointed by its pedestrian screenplay. The fact that it opted for a high frame rate was also controversial. Billy Lynn did win some Hollywood Film Awards, but no Oscars. At least he got a Silver Star, though.
Being celebrated as a hero? That's got to weigh heavy on a young man's shoulders.
Makes me feel like I've got no say in things, sir.
I sympathize. But your story, Billy, you got to understand it no longer belongs to you. It's America's story now.
Number 17, The Monuments Men. World War II has been the subject of countless award-winning films. This one, however, isn't it. Directed by George Clooney, The Monuments Men has the novelty of focusing on a group of art curators and historians trying to save art stolen by the Nazis.
You can wipe out a generation of people, you can burn their homes to the ground, and somehow they'll still come back. But if you destroy their achievements, their history, then it's like they never existed.
Granted, the film seems to be faithful to actual historical events, but whatever thematic importance The Monuments Men may have been trying to achieve is foiled by its sluggish pace, episodic structure, and sentimental tone. Also, isn't this just a more pretentious Indiana Jones? In any case, the film won neither Oscars nor audience plaudits. Art belongs to a museum, all right, but it's not this film.
I've never shot anyone before.
It's easy.
Have you?
I'm about to.
Number 16, Dear Evan Hansen. We have known the difficulties of adapting books and plays into film, but undoubtedly one of the most perilous is adapting a stage musical to film. Yikes. Directed by Steven Chbosky and starring Ben Platt in the title role, this misfire illustrates all that could go wrong with a musical adaptation.
That's not a worthy explanation. I know there is none. Nothing can make sense of all these things I've done.
The jarring transition from speech to song, as well as cutting 9 songs, gives the impression the film is embarrassed of being a musical. While musicals can justify their weak plots with a great execution, the movie only seemed to draw attention to its weak contrivances. Then there is a patently older Platt, unconvincing as a high schooler. It was just as well that Evan Hansen was not nominated for any Oscars.
Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound?
Number 15, Emancipation. The plight of slaves in Civil War-era America has been the center of great cinematic storytelling and usually generously lapped up at the Oscars. Usually. So the fact that this Will Smith vehicle was not nominated for any Academy Awards is telling.
You help us beat these godforsaken devils, my good man, and you'll not just get back with your family. You will help free your family. And I'm sure your good friend Lincoln will be mighty proud of you.
Based on the true story of a runaway slave, the film follows Peter's escape after Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. A photo of his whipped back was a key piece in this abolitionist movement and a powerful testament to the evils of slavery. A stirring tale with a great performance on Smith's part, reception was nevertheless critical about the script's handling of the real-life material.
They break the bones in my body more times than I can count. But they never break me.
Number 14, Empire of Light. This love drama between movie theater employees in the 80s was perhaps too tepid to impress.
I mean, it's so depressing. You're just droning on and on. You wake me up when it's over.
Manager Hillary's and new employee Steven's blossoming romance is threatened by racist attacks by skinheads. While Olivia Colman's performance was praised, critics were mixed about the writing for Steven and the weak dialogue overall. The central love romance feels more like a plot device than anything else. As a thematic tribute to the magic of movies, well, it's been done before and much better.
What the hell are you doing?
Telling the truth. What a novel idea.
The Oscars did not warm up to this lukewarm drama outside of a bid for Best Cinematography, although Roger Deakins is basically a name-check nominee at this point. Number 13, Amelia. The worst Oscar bait tends to be biopics. This one follows the life of aviator Amelia Earhart and her mysterious disappearance on her last flight to Howland Island. You can't get more Oscar-friendly than that.
That's a wonderful idea, especially now.
What's special about now?
You don't read the papers?
Not unless someone makes me.
While other efforts would receive tepidly positive or mixed reviews, this time the consensus was clear. Amelia crashed and burned at both the box office and with critics. Hollow, insincere, with indifferent performances and slow pacing, the film struggles to deliver a stirring drama. Hilary Swank's performance as Earhart can't overcome a script that turns a pioneer into a blandly feminist icon. The Academy Awards were not impressed.
It all seems rather silly considering what's happening out there. And those men, all those families. Why have I been given so much?
Number 12, Radio.
Tell you his name yet?
Well, he doesn't talk too much. But he's sure taking a liking to that radio of yours.
Radio, huh?
This sports drama did not deliver that crucial touchdown. Directed by Mike Tolan, the movie is based on a true story concerning high school football coach Harold Jones. When his team hazes Radio, a man with a developmental disability, Jones takes him under his wing, to massive pushback from the townspeople. A spiritual precursor to The Blind Side, in its feel-good, treacly sentimentality, radio falls too easily into white savior tropes.
I know some of you don't know or don't care about all that radio's learned over these past few months. But the truth is, we're not the ones been teaching radio. Radio's the one been teaching us.
While it received favorable audience ratings, radio's cliche drama and Cuba Gooding Jr.'s weak performance did not endear it to critics. It is easily forgettable Oscar bait. Number 11, Men of Honor. Speaking of biopics about racial divides, this film follows the first African-American master diver in the United States Navy. Inspired by the heroic feat of an officer, Carl Brashear attends diving and salvage school to learn how to dive, struggling against institutional racism all the way.
Chief Sunday, we have every cook and shine boy in this camp thinking they'll be next to try a stunt like this, so you listen up. Don't bring him up till he stops moving.
He's near dead now, sir.
Not till he stops moving, Chief.
The best we can say about these Men of Honor is that their film has good performances by Gooding Jr. as Brashear and Robert De Niro as Officer Sunday. Still, the film is largely rote, uninspiring, and by all accounts, quickly forgettable. No awards for these officers.
I deserve to pass.
Since when does deserving mean anything? They ain't gonna have a color diver. Because no matter what you do in their eyes, you'll never be as good as them. So deserving or otherwise, you're failing.
No, you are.
Number 10, Diana. There have been a bevy of outstanding memorials to the late Princess of Wales. Unfortunately, 2013's Diana is not one of them.
Now, you see, you keep telling me everything's going to be all right. It's not all right. It's all wrong.
At first glance, it's easy to see why many felt Naomi Watts' starring vehicle would be a heavy contender during awards season. And to be fair, her performance isn't bad.
It's a bit dramatic.
Dramatic! Dramatic! My whole life has been dramatic! It's been full of the sound of people shutting doors on me.
But it's arguably impossible to really tell beneath the subpar dialogue and cheap production values. Many found the film plotting and exploitative as opposed to insightful, and that kind of bad press sank its awards prospects long before they even began.
I suppose it's something I enjoy now. I don't feel the need to be caught anymore. So maybe it's not falling. Maybe it's more like flying.
Not only did the film fail to garner any serious buzz, it couldn't even crack double digits on Rotten Tomatoes' tomato meter. Number 9, Cats. Classic musical adaptations have historically been hit or miss with the Academy. However, director Tom Hooper earned Les Miserables 8 nominations in 2012, so hopes were high he'd do the same with Cats.
Going to the ball. I wouldn't if I were you. Could get dangerous.
Alas, he couldn't make lightning strike twice, not even close actually. Without even touching upon the laughable visual effects, the film was so fundamentally flawed that it had audiences wish they had a memory of anything besides Cats.
Memory, all alone in the moonlight.
In the end, this unintentional parody ended up winning at a very different kind of award show, that being the Golden Raspberries. There, the film notably won Worst Picture, cementing its place in the litter of movie musicals.
And when you think he's half asleep, he's always wide awake!
Number 8, Alexander. A roughly 3-hour-long historical epic sounds like the kind of thing most cinephiles would eat up. But if this movie is taught in film classes, it would likely be to discuss how things ended up going so horribly wrong.
He will never give you the throne now, Alexander. Never.
To start, the movie perhaps seemed more interested in reciting history than depicting it. That meant its star-studded cast didn't have much material to work with, which arguably led to some career worst performances across the board.
Come on. Have you so quickly forgotten? Fortune favors the bold. Oh. By the gods, what is this?
I wondered their eyes fled when he had this to come back to.
Both audiences and critics gave it a massive shrug, and it failed to earn any of the Oscar nominations it was fishing for. In the end, the only thing Alexander walked away with was a legacy that's anything but great.
Return to Babylon and strengthen your center. Or come home to Macedonia and reorganize, but do not chase your dream further east.
Number 7. Music. Sia's first foray into directing a feature film arguably left a lot to be desired. After all, despite its best intentions, music ended up offending many in the very community it was trying to represent.
Knock, knock! Surprise! Hey, George. Music? Hey.
Everything from its casting choices to its problematic portrayal of autism drew heavy backlash, and the first official screenings did little to assuage those concerns. Sia publicly apologized and edits were made, while music still snuck into a few Golden Globe categories.
1 + 1, every day's a holiday. Let the beat take you away. Let the beat take you today.
Audiences weren't happy about it though, and launched an unsuccessful campaign to have its nominations rescinded. The movie didn't garner any Oscar nods, which ended up being the least controversial part about it.
She can take care of herself.
No, she can't.
God, why don't you care about
It's okay.
No, why don't you care about
I do care about you.
Number 6. Collateral Beauty. Speaking directly to the concepts of love, death, and time is just the kind of heady acting exercise that's earned plenty of performers golden statues. Sadly, Collateral Beauty falls apart because that's all it tries to do.
Howard doesn't write letters to people. He writes to things.
What kind of things?
Time. Love. Death.
The 3 abstractions.
In fact, one could say it works so hard to appear sophisticated that it forgets to give its actors anything to do. Unfortunately, Will Smith is the biggest victim. Much like his turn in the similarly fated 7 Pounds, you can practically feel how hard he's trying to get some recognition.
Where did you get that? Who are you?
Who did you write the letter to?
I wrote the letter to death.
Nice to meet you.
While the performance is certainly committed, there's only so much he can do. The actor would go on to deliver much better performances in much better films, meaning Collateral Beauty is just a footnote many try to forget.
You gotta be friggin' kidding me. I'm eating.
Number 5. Amsterdam. One would think that an Oscar-nominated director teaming up with some regular Oscar nominees and winners would lead to an Oscar-worthy film.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long story, but with you two, it'll be a cakewalk. And besides, I'm far better at forging documents now.
Unfortunately, that equation leaves out the most important variable, that it all has to equal a good movie in the end. Suffice it to say, Amsterdam is not exactly that. The talented cast and crew are wasted on a movie that's too messy to say anything and too safe to stand out.
Please, let's get going. We should have left for Dillenbeck's hours ago. That's the only hope that we have to get out of this situation with the police.
In fact, it wasn't good enough to even earn back its budget at the box office, let alone anything close to a prestigious industry award. Sadly, the main thing Amsterdam will likely be remembered as is an unprecedented misfire.
Are you okay? You good?
Mm-hmm. Fine. It comes and goes. I'm fine.
Yeah? You feel fine, and all of a sudden, vertigo, you get dizzy.
It comes and goes.
Number 4. Welcome to Marvin. If anyone could make this eclectic true story work as a film, it was Robert Zemeckis. The director's contributions to the Oscar-winning Back to the Future and Forrest Gump had many expecting a similar showing for Welcome to Marvin.
Damn. You gotta be kidding me. No. Shit.
The ingredients were all there, but that might have been the problem. Oftentimes, the movie felt like it was checking boxes off Zemeckis' trademark formula. Despite a worthwhile central performance from Steve Carell, the film never managed to rise above its middling critical reception.
Mark. Hello.
Hello, Roberta.
I'm making some coffee. You want some?
No, thank you.
Jeep looks good. Mud splatter's really cool.
It's gonna take a long time and a lot of miles to get the right amount of wear on those tires.
So Welcome to Marwin probably won't be spoken about in the same breath as Zemeckis' other films. At least, not the ones that earned Academy Awards.
Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me in the least.
Number 3, The Son. A father-son drama directed by Florian Zeller, this movie has Oscar bait written all over it. When family man Peter Miller decides to repair his relationship with his troubled ex-wife's son, Nicholas, what follows is unspeakable tragedy.
When you hurt yourself, it's as if you're doing it to me.
Though nominated for some awards, this melodrama about intergenerational trauma proved too much, or rather, too little, for most critics. While Hugh Jackman's performance was great as the beleaguered father, the film's portrayal of depression was a mixed bag at best. Compared to the complexity of Zeller's first film, The Father, The Son felt flat, simplistic, and unconvincing.
He was so talented, and he was so intelligent and sensitive, and he could have done so many beautiful things with his life.
Number 2, The Greatest Showman. Despite the merits of its true story, many felt this glossy musical prioritized style over substance, as evidenced by its award season haul.
This is the greatest show.
While a nomination for Best Original Song isn't anything to sneer at, it's obvious that folks expected the movie to do better. But even though certain critics weren't completely taken with the revisionist take on P.T. Barnum, audiences told a different story.
I know how it looks.
If you didn't, I'd be worried.
I mean, it just needs a little work.
The same popcorn entertainment that probably doomed the movie's Oscars chances made it a bona fide hit in theaters, where viewers came out en masse for its heartwarming themes and infectious soundtrack. So even though The Greatest Showman wasn't an awards juggernaut, it succeeded in other ways. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Anthropoid. If there's one thing the Academy can't seem to get enough of, it's war movies. So when one based on a famous military operation comes out, it's bound to get people talking.
That is not our mission.
What is your mission?
Operation Anthropoid.
Anthropoid?
Throw in respected actors like Cillian Murphy, and you get Anthropoid, which almost felt like it was designed in a lab specifically to win an Academy Award. So it must have come as quite a blow when the reviews were, well, just fine.
I wish I had an answer for you. You think any of this makes sense to me?
Then walk away now.
And go there, Maria.
They weren't bad by any means, but they weren't particularly glowing either. That tepid response likely spelled the movie's doom, and Anthropoid failed to land a single nomination at any major award show, Oscars included. A film of its caliber, if handled properly, could have done much, much better.
Where were you, Surta? I didn't think that you were really going to do it.
Which other Oscar bait caught no fish? Let us know in the comments down below.
You don't know it yet, but they are gonna love you.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.